All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me, London, back here with another video. Today we got how Pusha T just confirmed the Kendrick collab and Drake got softer. I don't know what that means. We'll see what Fantastic Hip Hop's talking about in this video about this whole subject. Recently, I did hear UMG and Def Jam, I believe, dropped clips. Apparently, I didn't even know that even happened. Due to them not wanting, I guess, due to the whole lawsuit that Drake filed against Kendrick Lamar, or against UMG, I should say. And Kendrick Lamar has a feature confirmed for the new Clips album that's going to come out. I'm trying not to listen to it. I've seen it on Twitter. I'm not listening to it until the actual album comes out. But yeah, apparently they dropped them just because of the Kendrick feature, which is kind of crazy to think. But it's not something I have not talked about before. We've all known Drake was trying to take the whole industry down pretty much, like you lose a basketball game and you're like, it's my ball, I'm taking it home. That's pretty much what Drake tried to do. He tried to do that, but it was very unsuccessful. Well, I guess it's kind of a small success considering that UMG dropped clips because of the Kendrick feature, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I think it's lame as hell. It's very lame. This is Drake's fault, and who knows what other artists can do this to the point where this might be a regular thing now. Drake has turned the rap game into a whole clown show due to his feelings getting hurt after asking for a beef and then getting his ass whooped. Other than that, let's get into the video.
Now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T, well, if you are ready to get the biggest hip-hop collaboration that we have seen in years and just watch the rap game be in shambles over two MCs coming together like never before, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because after what Pusha T just told us, things have never looked more exciting in rap for the next month or so, because after so much speculation, and specifically questions around if Kendrick Lamar was going to be a feature on the upcoming Clips album, well, Pusha T and Malice just sat down with GQ for a huge interview where they have revealed so much, and over everything else, they have told us how scared the music industry truly is over seeing the two boogeymen of the rap game just come together and send a message like no other two rappers in this era could possibly do. And now, as over everything else, we now know that Kendrick Lamar linked up with the best MCs that he possibly could and is ready to get more competitive with them to the point that the entire industry is crashing out about this. Really, before we go any further into why the industry is so scared of Kendrick and Push coming together and how Drake has already been embarrassed pretty bad by Push just speaking here, leave that like if you have not already so all of hip-hop can see how important this moment is going to be. And now, with that said, when it comes to Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, and everything else, we may have just gotten the most important interview we have from a rapper all year, because with everything that Pusha and Malice told us here, well, they were not like most rappers when they do these interviews in this era and just speak in riddles or just do nothing whatsoever and waste our time. But in typical fashion, Push and Malice got right to it and told us some very important info, which is both telling us some very exciting stuff about where hip-hop is at and what we are about to see with the new Clips album, but at the same time, we also heard some very disturbing things about the state of the music industry and how even these rappers have been treated, all because of what Drake decided to do when he filed paperwork.
Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning. This is Drake really tried to take down the whole industry along with his loss because he couldn't stand losing, I guess. I don't know. It's very lame. It's clown shoes. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just very lame of him to do that. And it's going to be affecting probably the rest of the rap genre for a long time. Maybe it'll fizzle out over time. But currently, right now, we are seeing it in real time how Drake's lawsuit that he filed against UMG is affecting other artists right now.
Work against his label UMG. And now specifically, what I am talking about and what Push referred to here is the status of the new Clips album, and within this, why the record was taking so long to drop. As Push said, it has been done for a decent amount of time at this point. But ironically enough, because this is how Clips' career started before their first album we got from them in 2002 came out with another record in another label that we never saw, they got shelved and pushed back, which was pretty much happening here. But now it wasn't because Push and Malice are not proven artists who have legendary careers in this day and age, but it was because of something else, as Push told us that Def Jam loved the album and almost everything they heard, and that one thing that they didn't like was a verse from Kendrick Lamar on the track Chains and Whips. And now with this, just to look at what the interview straight up says, It tells us that if you expected the album last summer, the brothers sympathize, so did they. Pusha says they felt confident, proud, and assured of themselves when they presented the music to Def Jam. The label loved what they heard, except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on The Thunderous Chains and Whips, the final version of the song that Pharrell teased at his first LV Runaway show, and the song that Pusha says was the first to come out of their sessions. Don't be fooled by Pusha's interviews appealing for one last guest verse and the jokes that he went to a GNX tour date to physically walk Kendrick Lamar into the nearest studio. K-Dot's verse homework has been turned in for a while now. And now also looking at this and hearing that Kendrick's verse has been done for a while is very interesting and telling. But now after saying this...
That's kind of crazy. I wonder what content he's going to be saying in that, considering how much things have passed and what has happened recently. I don't know. They didn't confirm how long, like, I guessing this before the beef maybe with between Kendrick and Drake. So I don't know, but we'll see.
The interview goes on to tell us why the verse was pushed back on by the industry, which was because after a summer of beef between their two biggest artists that resulted in a still ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company UMG blanched at the antagonistic optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking up on wax, which it calls their apprehension stupid, primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's otherwise excellent verse could really be perceived as a shot or even subliminal. It does, however, contain the stellar line, "Therapy taught me how to open up, but it also showed me I don't give a," and now with this. Well, I guess we just learned what some of the bars on Kendrick's verse will say with the last sentence, which seems to allude to the duality and lessons learned in both the Mr. Morale and GNX era of his careers. But now in the much bigger picture of this thing and with what is said here, well, this is what rap and the expectations in the genre are going to start to look like in a world where Drake is trying to ruin the genre with his suit and overall just scare the industry into even engaging in artistic moments of victory and greatness like we have seen with Kendrick and Push right here. And again, why it's been so important to call out Drake and stay on him for the vulture that he really has become in this era is all because of seeing the struggles that Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar of all people have had to get out a song. Because really, if these...
And that is crazy to think about. Two big artists, or a big duo, and probably the biggest art, well, not the biggest artist, but you know what I mean, the best rapper that we have in our generation are going through this. So I can only imagine if there's someone with lesser status, or stature, I guess status would be the right word, like in the rap game that has like a Kendrick feature, or you know, just even in general, just talking about something like making a diss towards Drake. It's just they're blocking them just because they're dissing Drake. It's so stupid and it's so lame, and it just takes the whole meaning of rap. It sucks. It's ass. It sucks.
These two couldn't get out a song. This is all the reason why we need to keep pushing back and why Drake needs to lose here. Otherwise, rap is about to enter an era where things have never been more soft and expression as a whole will really be cooked. Because seriously, with what we are witnessing with what Push just told us, we were literally reading that we would have not got a song between Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T if Push didn't continue to push back on his label and then force Def Jam to drop him from the label as a whole and get him off the UMG roster. And even with this now, this is why Pusha T signed to Roc Nation as an independent MC to distribute this thing. And
also shout out to Roc Nation. I forgot to mention that. Roc Nation did sign Pusha T and Malice to their label. Even though Roc Nation has a lot of weird shady things going on currently right now with a lot of other artists. I don't know what's going on. Every time it seems like an artist with Roc Nation, there's someone at the end of a gun. I don't know. It's weird. But shout out to Roc Nation. At least they stand behind their people.
Even with that, well, joining Jay after getting dropped is why Jay is so important to hip-hop and why we need somebody like him to have the position he does, because his understanding of both the industry and hip-hop culture makes sure that everybody has a seat at the table in general when it may be harder than ever to do that, especially because of what Drake has done. And again now, what we are seeing is an early example of how the Drake crash out and suit is trying to ruin artistic expression, because if we read what Push felt about this, the interview tells us Pusha can barely contain his disgust, recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing, he explains, and then they wanted me to take the record off, and so after a month of not doing it, the label just said, We'll just drop the clips, but that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go. Sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release the clips and drop Pusha as a solo artist, freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished clips album and plenty more music in their pockets. Ultimately, Pusha says the endeavor was gratifying. It felt good to even see how other labels were buying for the project. And now, as they teased last week with a picture in front of the label's plain insignia, they've ended up at Jay-Z's Rock Nation, where they feel fully supported and energized. I think that synergy, just in a rap sense, is going to speak volumes, Pusha says, of the partnership. And now, fortunately for Push, he ended up being a free agent and joining Jay-Z, but for most artists, they are not going to get this treatment from the label.
Yes,
and will either be
exactly. That's another thing. If a label drops like a lesser known artist, they're not going to get the same opportunities. The Clips has been around since 2002. Okay, they have a name. They've made a name for themselves for a very long time. Even though they went on hiatus for how many years it's been. But if this is like a new artist or an artist coming up, they're not going to have this type of like, they're not going to have that type of opportunity because all these labels are all in tune with each other. I don't know about Rock Nation, but all these other labels, Interscope, Def Jam, and all those labels, I'm sure they all talk with each other. So I'm sure they've probably blackballed a couple artists before. I know Saw Baby, what's that his name? Saw Baby from Atlanta. I know he's been blackballed. There's a couple other artists that's been blackballed as well. I just can't think of right now. But yeah, they all in cahoots with each other. All in cahoots with each other. So if this was a lesser known artist, they probably wouldn't even see their album probably would never seen the live day. Ever.
Be shelved alone or just forced to do what they say, which would have been to ruin the
unless
Kendrick
they're not
Lamar
signed,
like they asked, and
obviously.
maybe even take it off entirely, because I am sure that Kendrick Lamar would not let only half or a fraction of his vision be released to the world without it actually having its full impact. But now also I will say, as bad as all of this stuff is in terms of the industry not wanting to hear Kendrick and Push together, there is some more good news here, as Push also does tease that Jay-Z is on this record, which once again just shows how much we are winning and how peak this thing is gonna be. As just to put it into perspective, the article reads, so they're officially doing business with The Rock, and the Kendrick verse was never the feature Push kept alluding to and holding out for. Does this mean we're due for another Pusha and Jay-Z collaboration? And then in response to this, Push said, we made history a couple of times, Push said with a coy smirk, referring to the two elusive Jay features he's nabbed in the past. And now beyond this, Push unfortunately had to keep talking about Drake, as he was being asked how he felt about the weird disses he kept sending to him and Pharrell. And more importantly, Push was asked about the suit and what he thought about there, where he said, if Drake's adamant to have a lawsuit, it's only because he knows all the things they did to suppress everything that was happening around Adidon and the verses and records and things that were happening back then. And then Push alluded to instances in which the label ruined his verses because of the entire Drake situation, and he specifically cited the tracks with Rick Ross and Lil Wayne in Maybach Music 6 and the posthumously released Pop Smoke song with Young Thug. And once again, just saying something like this, Push is showing his own experience of how the industry had to hold him back for Drake, and again, he knows that Drake has manipulated everything to help him and protect him for so long, which at the very least just shows us that something is so up, and we really have to thank Push for being one of the few rappers who just spoke up about Drake and the suit and says about Drake now as a whole, that because of this entire suit, I don't rate him no more, Pusha says off Drake's off-wax antics. The suing thing is bigger than some rap. I just don't rate you. It's like it kind of just cheapens the art of once we gotta have real questions about suing and litigation. Like, what? For this? And I mean, Push has just said what we all feel in a more direct and understandable way. And
it's just crazy. It's over a verse. Just one verse. All over a verse. All of this. It's so dumb.
Most of us could never put into words like this, and really with this, well, what is so clear is that both with the song that Kendrick and Push have made together and with Drake, which just the principle of what he has been doing has tried to ruin this album and everything around it. Well, now Jay is helping Pusha and this song come out, and of course, these guys are all trying to move Drake out of the way so expression in hip-hop can reign over everything else. And I am sure that with what Kendrick has recorded and Push with whatever else we are going to see, over everything else, this record is truly going to be Drake's worst nightmare. But he has never deserved for it to happen more. And so now with all of this said, let me know. What do you think about what's going on with the Clips, Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, this entire record, and how...
Alright, yeah, so all in all, the whole message of this is Drake is fucking lame. He's a fucking douche. Can I even say that? He's a bum. Alright? He lost the game, now he tried to pick the ball up and take it home with him. you know, it's lame as hell from him, and it's gonna suck for lesser known artists, especially if they're not on Drake's good side or any of the label's good side. They're just gonna get dropped. They're just gonna get dropped. That's very unfortunate. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.